So we get to December 2018, where she begins to advertise what she calls a tour of creativity workshops for fans for the low price of $165.
And I do want to say again, like, you might be thinking, because we've talked about a lot of like celebrity sort of meet-up things and the amount they've cost. Compared to some of them, this is cheap. But consider it's Caroline Calloway. Like, it's not like the Jared Leto cult thing. Like, that's already ridiculous. But at the same time, you've got to think, I guess a lot of people know him and he is in a band and you do get the concert out of it. This is just... I don't even think she really does a speech at it. I think the whole thing was just you went and kind of hung out with her.
Yeah. You chilled out, you talked about your writing.
And it's the same thing with the nasty gal Sophia, who does the speeches now. And like we said on that podcast...
stopped, doesn't she?
Well, she stopped. But like we said on that podcast, why... And I get, like, failure is a good thing. And I get that. I fail all the time. But, like, do you really want to go to a seminar by someone who's, like, failed that massively? Like, I don't want to go to a seminar about business from that person. I'd go to, like, a seminar about, like, how do you not get embarrassed to the point that you need to hide forever. That's what I'd want to hear about. I don't want to hear your business tips.
How do you come back out into the world? Yeah.
I don't want to see
all you could offer.
Yeah, that's all I want. I don't want to see you say the word business or nasty gal or anything. No. Anyway, back to Caroline.
So Vox reported that each workshop would be 4 hours long, which is insufferable. Like, 4 hours, no thank you. But if you're paying that much money, like...
Yeah, I guess try and get your money's worth out of it.
So Caroline would be present for 3 of those hours because the first hour was for the attendees to make friends. Imagine the awkwardness of being in a room with someone for an hour waiting for Caroline to appear. Like, it's just too much. So they would apparently receive personalized journals, vegan lunches, care packages custom just for them that would include mason jar gardens. They would drink coffee or tea with oat milk. They would make fresh orchid crowns to wear in their hair. And it would visit 10 cities in America before moving to Europe. So she was like going worldwide, like it was a worldwide tour.
It had begun as a one city thing. I think originally it was just New York. And then people were like, you know what, Caroline, this sounds like a good idea. And she was like, great, I'll expand it. Despite the fact it's never happened. Yeah. And it would the smart thing to do, this is why I don't take business advice from these people, would the smart thing to do not just do one in New York, if that's very successful, the next year you do it in like a couple more cities as well. You don't expand that much when you've never done it. And also the fact it sounds...
just her organising it.
I know.
She started to sell the tickets a month before the tour was scheduled to start without doing any organisation. She booked no venues. She sold tickets without having venues booked around the world. She ordered 1,200 mason jars for the gardens, only to find she had nowhere to put them in her tiny apartment once they arrived.
And I mean, that was the best bit, that she went on her Instagram story and was freaking out about these mason jars. And she was like, I think her Instagram story was just the place to be at this time, because it was just her panicking and then being like, if you're expecting a corporate level of event planning, I'll refund you. Because I mean, what did she do with all the mason jars?
That's what we'll never know.
We'll never know. But it sounds so millennial girl boss to me.
Yeah.
The whole thing, the oat milk, and like, I drink oat milk, but the oat milk, the flower crown, the mason jars, all things I do. But if you're going to an event with that, it's girl boss millennials. Yeah. It has to be.
Like, badly organised, dreaming too big without logistics. Yeah. It's that sound on TikTok where the girl's like, I might have girl bossed a bit too close to the sun.
If that sound was around then and so was TikTok, Caroline needed to use that because it would have been perfect. Anyway, this journalist called Kaylee Donaldson.
I admire the like level that Kaylee dedicated to this. Like, she met the energy of Caroline's destruction.
Oh, yeah. She was like, I'm not having this happen. She goes on Twitter, and with the power of a gif of Moira from Schitt's Creek, that's her saying it's a scam.
It's a scam!
She uses that, and then just is like, yeah, it's a scam. I can't believe this. This whole, that gif and her tweeting leads to this not happening. Yeah. So she, I think, says, I think it's categorical bullshit that nobody is talking about and that we glorify this influencer nonsense.
And she doesn't call her Carol. She doesn't name her. She just calls her Scammer throughout.
I know,
which is so petty.
I'm not giving her any more attention. She's a scammer. But what Caroline does in a typical millennial girl boss way is she decides to wear that title as a crown, which again is something Sophia of Nasty Gal's kind of done with the whole I went bankrupt and was terrible at business. Now listen to me talk about it a lot. It's kind of the same thing.
Absolutely.